Hey y'all, welcome to Off the Beaten Path. My name is Cush.
My name is Breezy. On our podcast, we explore the great outdoors and the Second Amendment with a blend of culture,
comedy, and conversation. And oh yeah,
I'm making beats.
I'm making beats.
One day I won't laugh at that. One day.
Yeah, that doesn't get old. It doesn't get old. And everybody we've had is kind of like
awesome.
Thank you. Yo, so welcome back to the show, everybody. Y'all see my brother Breezy. Of course, you see his MPCX. You got me, Cush, and tonight we have an amazing guest, Aaron from Armed Atlas, podcaster, two-way advocate, firearm enthusiast. But Aaron, that's what I know. Give us an intro to the people who may not know you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Dude, first of all, to the two of y'all, thank you for having me on the show. Thank you for inviting me. It's really cool to be here. It's cool to be able to, obviously we chopped it up like for 30 seconds beforehand. You were telling me some stuff, and I want to make sure we get back to that, Breezy, because you've got some pedigree. But the people want to know maybe why the heck you invited me on. No reason, just been, since 2001. Podcasting. Used to have a show called Costly Conversations Podcast, eventually rebranded it to Gun Club Radio. So here we are. You guys have been on it at least one time, or Cush, you came on. Breezy, we got to bring you on now since we let Cush come on.
Yeah.
And it's been really cool because we've had conversations. We started having conversations pretty much exclusively with members of the Black community. When I was 2001, I was a younger man. And I started training out in Dallas. It was like 2 hours away from where I actually live, because I found out there was a gun club out there, part of the National African American Gun Association. And I was like, man, I want to train with these guys. So I went out there, started training about once a month, 2 hours there, 2 hours back. It was a great time. And then on Thanksgiving Day, I was out mountain biking a trail in my local community and took a bad spill, tore up my ACL again, and I couldn't shoot. I mean, you could probably shoot a little bit, but I couldn't get in the car, drive 2 hours, go shoot with the guys moving around, and then drive 2 hours back. It just wasn't feasible, wasn't doable. My wife wouldn't let me do it. So here I am.
There it is.
Here I am, wanting to stay a part of the community, but struggling to be able to do so because of like actual physical limitations, right?
Yeah.
There's recovery, there's rehab, all that. And so I was like, man, like, how can I do it? Then COVID hit, right? COVID was happening. Well, it was happening all during that, but it got worse because I got COVID. I finally got it after like months. And then we had in the state of Texas something called Snowmageddon. For those who remember, back in like 2001-ish, February, right? And during Snowmageddon, people actually died. It was that serious. And I'm stuck in the house. People are losing power. Kids that I'm working with in the community, I'm hearing that they have to go move in with like their aunts and stuff because their house is flooded, their pipes are frozen. It's just a bad time. And I've got a few days to basically do nothing. So I said, hey, I kind of want to do this show. I've been thinking about doing a show for years. Let's do it. So I teach myself how to edit. I teach myself kind of what, I'm like, I could just open the webcam, but I don't want to do that. I want to kind of take it to the next level.
Yeah.
What kind of camera do I need? So I borrowed a camera. I learned what focal lengths were for, like 35 millimeter on a crop sensor. It's like way too tight for what I wanted to do. So long story short, I created this show and I reached out to guys from the gun club and I was like, hey, can we get the president on? Can we get some of the members on? What can we do to kind of keep these conversations going? Because I'm learning so much. And I'm learning about the people in the club that, there's guys who are Black and they're shooting, but they're not automatically one thing or another. They're not automatically Republican. They're not automatically Democrat. Some guys are kind of the other way, all the way around. And it's like, what is this? And I'm just fascinated, and I want to tell these stories, and I want to ask these questions. So the show just kind of became a vector or a place I could do that.
Yeah.
Fast forward, I start getting invited to certain things, certain high profile people start reaching out to me and say like, hey, we love what you're doing. Can you come out to this event? Can you come out to this event? One of my buddies, the Humble Marksman, he eventually saw a conversation that I did with like a up and coming competition shooter guy. And he was like, hey, I like this. You could do this better. And I was like, thank you. I appreciate that. I will. And eventually he invited me out to a primary arms range day. That was my first, like, event, right? And
what year was that? What year was that?
Oh, that had to be at the like September of 21.
Okay.
They actually canceled NRA convention that year.
Yep.
And it was only there. Yep.
Wow.
And it was really just a fascinating time because I've never been in this world. I did not grow up with guns. We grew up with machetes. We grew up with bats. We grew up with stuff like that because I grew up in the Virgin Islands. Most people don't know
I was
that.
just about to say you must be from the Caribbean because
Bats and machetes. That's it. Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Yep.
Yeah. Which arguably might be worse.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
So, man,
go ahead, man.
I love how you just jumped in and go ahead. Let's
one time.
There we go. We need a horn.
Quick, a few of the.
Yep. Need the DJ horn. I love how you jumped in and started telling part of your story because, man, that's essentially like what our goal is here is to use this particular platform off the beaten path to have conversations with Black folks, Latino folks, Asians, all other ethnicities, and even above that, women, right? Because there's so many stories in the space that there's not this cookie cut approach to, hey, I'm a fourth generation hunter. You know, I got my daddy's guns or my granddaddy's guns, and we grew up hunting. You know, like that's not the common story for people in the city. I'm from the city, from the city, but it's not also a common story for Black African Americans, Latinos, Asians. Like for we just didn't grow up with that culture. So it's cool that you dove in head first with training. But man, let's talk about that. Oh well, real quick, Breeze. So Aaron, if you can see, he has the MPC here. He will be chopping up a sample. Bro is probably one of the illest producers that I know. He's definitely one of the dopest in the cities where we live. And play was I don't even know what you got queued up. Let me hear the sample.
You don't. Yeah. I'll let you.
Yeah. It sounds jazzy.
It's a little jazzy.
I like it.
It sounds jazzy. So he'll actually be chopping that up live. Yeah. So you'll see him. He'll go into the rabbit hole and start beating on the pads and chopping and slicing it up. But so yeah, he'll be back and forth between us. He's also our board guy. He'll do the sound effects, and we'll pull him into the conversation because I know we had like he said the quick 30 seconds, and y'all figured out the Tom Joyner connection.
That's it. Yeah, for sure.
So, bro, tell us what inspired you to get into firearms.
Man, that's a funny story because if you look at me today, if you look up like Armed Atlas, right? You see, Instagram and a YouTube channel, and there's cool gun reviews, and there's some videos that are, hundreds of thousands of views, and there's some that are just like, man, like people are really talking and having discussions and getting mad at this company because, they did an interview with me and they didn't like what they had to say, stuff like that. They see that. But in my regular life, I'm a very regular guy, and I've always been that way. I like guns and we have cool opportunities. But how did we get here, right? It all started when I shot a gun maybe once or twice before. Like I shot a shotgun when I was like 18. That was my first time shooting anything with gunpowder in it. And shotgun was incredible. Shooting a 12 gauge, just the power and just the force behind it. And it makes you respect guns.
Yeah.
Like 12 gauge says put some respect on my name. Like it's that serious.
100%
So,
that blowback.
right. And so having shot that, I was like, okay, cool. Didn't touch guns for like another 2-3 years after that. But I'm in college. We're living off campus. I have like 2 or 3 roommates. Our roommate situation was a mess. Like it was, we basically had like not like a halfway house, but like if you needed a place to stay, you were staying at my house. It was kind of ridiculous.
That's cool. So wait, hold on. This is important to me. What
Yeah.
did you go to college for? What did you get your degree in?
Psychology.
Psychology. I think that's amazing for 2 reasons. Because I think the preconceived notion that most people have about people that are passionate about the Second Amendment or even working in the space is that they're just enthusiasts or hobbyists, but you're a professional in mental health capacity, in social capacity, and you also happen to love firearms or
Right.
the Second Amendment. And so I want to say like that just goes to show the texture of the people in the space. Not everybody's working in the space exclusively as a marketing professional or a podcaster. Like you actually have, you wake up and you'll go to a job and or your career rather. And so I think that's impressive because one of the things we're identifying through this podcast is we have an influencer. I think you actually know him, RGG. Yeah. So in his community, bro, you'll find lawyers, real estate agents, bankers, investment bankers. You'll find every type of career person from different walks of life who happen to be African American. It's not just like I'm a one-dimensional person. I have layers.
I think Aaron even touched on that when you were talking about getting to know these guys at the range when you were going. Like you can't just put all these guys in a box because you look at them and it's a black guy and you think you already know. It's like, no, you can't. And I love that. That's one of the main things I love about the gun space is we're all so different, but we're connected in this community that we're building. And it's really cool to see. So I thought it was cool to hear you talk about that, like that was your perspective as well, that, hey, wow, this is cool. Why are these guys here? Where did they come from? What's their backgrounds? And it's cool to hear you speak on that. And then your personal experience as well. So that's dope.
Yeah.
Which also explains why you speak like this.
Yeah, I was saying because we had a little bit. I know we connected. We said we made a little connection on the Tom Joyner Morning Show. I worked in radio for 12 years, and that was one of the shows I ran. When you first started talking, I was thinking it's the afternoon ride with your man Aaron, Armed Atlas. We got some Earth, Wind, and Fire coming up. You definitely. I think that could be one of your callings as well.
I was going more like he definitely sounds like a psychologist. Like
oh really? Yeah. Okay.
A therapist.
Oh, so, Rob, listen.
What brings you in? What brings you in today? Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
Tangent.
Yeah,
we're on a tangent.
Yeah, we go off the rails sometimes. Either or, though. I like the way you went. Like I'm on the couch voice, and I went radio, afternoon, thunderstorm, evening mix.
But that's what people say, like when they come on the show. A lot of people who come on the show, it's their first time. Maybe they're like kind of burgeoning or like budding creators or whatever, and they're nervous as heck. And I'm just like, let's just come on the show. I'll do my best to make it a comic experience. And then they start opening up and sharing things that maybe they shouldn't share. And you're just like, oh man.
You're like, I'll edit that out. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's fine. Don't worry. I'll edit it.
So you're now you're actually a psychologist, right?
No. Now I work in special needs.
Man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Man, that's so amazing, bro.
That's incredible.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So I work right now. Just I've worked in different facilities, but right at this moment, I'm working one-on-one with a particular client, and he's actually going through it right now. He's just had doing some Special Olympic stuff, hurt himself pretty bad. So we're trying to manage his recovery, and it's very different because, regular guys, when I say regular, people who don't have autism.
Yeah.
When you have an injury, generally just like, oh man, I hurt myself. What do I do? You kind of walk through those steps by yourself. But when you have a particular level of need and you need additional assistance, how do you support that person emotionally?
Yeah.
What do you have to help that individual with so that they can not re-injure themselves because maybe they have different habits or different things that they need to do, different ticks,
Yep.
and really it's just trying to be wise with that and try to help them to not re-injure themselves or to get through it emotionally, really. Yeah.
And that's amazing, the work you do, because I think there's this feel like for outsiders outside of the industry that people who love guns are boneheads. It's not all
Yeah.
that. It's not.
I
It's
mean, you could say that, but it's not true, right?
right, of
Like one of my
course.
buddies who he's a kind of a semi well-known curator in the gun space. He's a paramedic. Another guy who was in my club, he took a leadership position. He's like a tech professional. Another guy, similar stories. It's not everybody's just like, oh, I'm a cop or I'm a this or I'm a retired special forces guy. And I'm not saying anything bad about those guys, but that's kind of more dime a dozen. Like a
Yep.
lot of guys, they really are just regular guys, regular
Regular folks.
jobs,
Yeah.
right? And
So
they happen to like guns.
okay, now let's get back to how you got into the firearm space. I know you said you first shot a shotgun, a 12
Yeah,
gauge, and it
some
gave
12
you
gauge.
a very healthy level of respect for the firearm.
Yeah,
Tell us about your first firearm you purchased. What made you want to go purchase it? And then we'll explore. We'll do some more exploration after that.
yeah. So I guess that takes us back to the apartment, right? Because we
Yep.
had that apartment, and it's like 11 o'clock at night. Me and my guy, Davion, were there. He's a aviation student at the time, and it's 11 o'clock at night. We're playing Madden. He used to tear me up in Madden, bro. It was bad. It was bad. We're talking about like 60-6 type stuff, bro.
Oh wow! Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was bad. But I eventually got better. That said, one night, all of a sudden you hear a front door. We're just like, okay, we got one guy, Josh, he's there. He's our white roommate. And we're just like, oh, it's probably one of his guys. They're coming out to go mountain biking or something at 11 o'clock at night, doing weird stuff like that. And then I'm like, hey, Josh, is that for you? Doesn't even look through the people, just unlocks it, opens the door. And
No.
that kind of party. Two guys that I've never seen before in my life. And it became very apparent that Josh has never seen him before in their life.
Yeah.
And these two guys, one of them is wearing like a t-shirt, cargo pants, combat boots, and something's kind of sticking up at the back of his shirt, concealed, but clearly some sort of cylindrical device.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what is this? The other guy, long dark hair, kind of scruffy looking, black eye. They both smell like alcohol. And you're just like, what is happening here? They're looking for somebody. It's very unclear. They're asking, hey, have you seen so-and-so? Who is that? We have no idea. Oh, you don't know your neighbors? No, we're college kids. We're not talking to our neighbors. We're here to go to school and come back. And we don't care. They're like, okay, well, can we borrow your phone? Josh is like, who do you need to call? Okay, here's the number. And then for some reason, the phone goes to voicemail and they both start freaking out. Like these guys just start freaking out. And at some point in that conversation, my guy is like, hey, go get something because these guys are trouble. And I'm just like, oh snap. So I'm like looking through the apartment. I'm like, do we have anything in here that can kind of multiply force, like a force multiplier, like some sort of bat, some sort of knife or something? Really, we didn't have anything good, like no good options.
Wow.
And then
they're
I'm thinking,
they're in your apartment.
they're at the threshold.
Okay.
And at some point, after the phone rings and it goes to voicemail, the guy with the bat in his shirt, it turned out to be a baseball bat.
Yep.
The guy with the bat in his shirt turns to the guy with the black eye and says, that's it, you're dead. Like kind of storms off. And the guy with the black eye steps through the threshold and says, hey man, you got to protect me. Don't let him get me. I'm like, bro, you got to go. Like,
yeah,
I can't help you.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's got under his shirt. Like, what if he starts blasting? I can't help you, bro.
Yep.
And he starts freaking out, says, "Hey, we'll knock on all these doors," and literally starts banging on. We live in a nice apartment complex. Like, we paid a little extra to be there. Starts banging on all the doors in this apartment complex. And I'm just like, dang, okay, lock the door, shut off the lights. Let's go to this back room in case they start shooting through the door or something crazy. Then I remember thinking, like, dang, I never want to be in this situation again. Calling our other roommates to say, hey, man, don't come back to the apartment yet. Just stay out for a while. Like, I never want to feel like this again. Like, I felt vulnerable. Like, not that I was like a coward in the situation, but I could not do more than what I was doing at the time.
Yeah. Well, yes, but it's, there's a fear can keep you alive, right?
Yeah.
So there is a healthy level of cowardice that is required for someone to back away and go into the room. Like, I'm a traditional like man's man. I'll fist fight with any. I don't care. But I've learned, I just turned 41. I've learned in life that, like, man, it's okay for me to walk away. Like, so. Yeah. So what do people think it was cowardice? Hey, I walked away with my life. That's what matters. And
I mean, there's that. But I was engaged at the time.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, so what happens the next time someone comes knocking on my door? Because it can happen. This isn't a strange occurrence. People come knocking all the time. And it's somebody that maybe wants more than I'm willing to give, like if I have to defend my family, am I able to, or are we going to hide in a back room somewhere?
Man, exactly. Yo, look, that's part of our, there it is, because that's it right there. Like, those are questions I think men, we ask ourselves as, the supposed and purpose provider, protector that we're supposed to be, right? But I don't think it's that. There's a lot of people who, men and women, who just don't think like that. But I think for men who come from, the certain fabric that we're from, or whatever it is, I would like to think that most men think, yeah, how do I protect my family? How do I, because I got married when I was 21. And my wife was 19. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were young, but
I was 23, still pretty young.
Yeah, and so, man, I definitely understand that feeling, because, man, we had kids back to back. Like, I'm 41 and my oldest is about to be 20. You know what I'm saying? So we had kids back to back, and instantly I was always thinking about, like, safety, protection. You know what I mean? And so it's awesome to hear you go through an experience and really put yourself in the scope of, I'm engaged, I plan on having a family. How do I prepare myself for it if this happens? And if it does, how do I handle it? So did you go get your firearm immediately after that, or?
So it wasn't an immediate thing. It was starting to look into stuff like, okay, what's a good option? Is a gun a good option? Are those like guns that shoot like pepper balls? Is that a good option? Maybe a baton. Maybe that's a great option because you can kind of get down and dirty if someone's close. I was like, and then I ended up, one of my boys was like, hey, let's go to the range. And I was like, good idea. Let's do it. Ended up renting some Glock 21s, shooting Glock 45 for the first time. It kind of blows you away. And you're just like, okay, we really know nothing about shooting, and somehow we did it in a safe enough way, right?
Yep.
And somehow ended up kind of making it a thing, started going all the time, invited my fiance, eventually wife, to go, and eventually bought my first gun, Glock 19 Gen 4, slightly used from a pawn shop. After visiting so many gun stores, watching so many videos, so much Hickok 45 and John Lovell and just all the legends, and thinking, oh man, maybe I want to get something that's more like, not like the mainstream gun, because if you're buying an iPhone, I'm buying an Android. I'm just that kind of guy.
Yep.
But with guns, you don't necessarily want to do that, not for your first one.
Yeah.
Kind of go with what's reliable, go with what's known, you know.
Yo,
go with a good caliber you can get. What's that?
Give me that high point.
Bro.
No, bro, you want this Glock? No. Give me the high point.
I mean, you could go out and buy a Chiappa Rhino if you got that kind of money, but maybe start with the Glock.
Yeah, the Nebula Chiappa Rhino. That'd be the one. That's the nice one.
Dude.
How's it going over there?
It's that. Listen, we'll find out.
Let's hear it.
We're talking about his first firearm. So you got, what was it, a Glock 19?
Yeah, it was a Glock 19.
Gen 4?
Gen 4.
And then, so do you immediately jump into training, or do you kind of like let it sit for a month?
No. I take it out and I'm shooting with it. You know, I got one of my guys. He was a big tech guy. He was a coder, worked for a small company, coding and whatnot. And apparently he had moved from Colorado, and he was a competition shooter at the, growing up. He's a young guy like myself. So he was like, hey, let's get you shooting. And I was like, okay, cool. Didn't compete or anything crazy, but really just kind of learning what it meant to shoot. What is a grouping? Just learning some of these fundamentals and still not having a great grasp on them until much later, and kind of more until I started training with people.
Yeah.
When I moved back to Texas, because I was in Virginia at the time. When I moved back to Texas and when I started having these conversations, it forced me to be better.
Yeah.
Especially when you start saying like, hey, like I kind of want to, like, I love talking to people about guns, but I want to review guns. And you realize that my shooting's not the best. It needs to be better, especially because people are telling you that your shooting sucks. And you're just like, okay, let me go to this course. And eventually I got a security certification, and because I help out at my church, and that really pushed me to the next level, because it's like a 5-week, 80-hour course and a lot of shooting.
Have you ever seen the footage of in Texas, this older dude?
I almost brought this up the other night when we were talking about situational, basically performing under pressure. Sorry to jump in, and I almost brought that up the other night or last night when we were talking to Vanna Shoots, because you can train, but when the situation pops off, right, and you're under all the pressure and the stress, and you have the heart to do it, the range, dialing in your sights. Yeah, so go ahead, tell them where was that?
In Texas, dude walks in with a shotgun to a church, and this old dude
for a minute.
Yeah, and bro, it's a shotgun, bro. He could blow a hole in anybody's back if he wanted to. I think he actually killed one dude, right?
Yeah, he started so people could see that something was up. They weren't sure. He didn't you couldn't see the shotgun yet. And one of the ushers came over to him and started. You could see them. This is all you can't. Well, I guess you can't hear audio, but you can't hear what they're saying to each other. You see that they're going back and forth a little bit. Yeah, and another guy, one of the ushers, starts to remember. He was the one that was like, "Hey, man, what's going on?" And he saw the kid start to pull out, and he had a bat. Remember, he was reaching from his back to pull his gun out, and the dude got him.
Well, hold on.
I think that was a white settlement church.
We're leaving a lot out. The dude is walking, the gunman is walking past the pews, and he's now maybe like a good 20 feet, would you say? 20 feet from him?
He shot that guy first. That was the
No, I'm saying when the churchgoer, when he takes his shot, he's like a good 20 feet away.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So the guy shoots that guy trying to reach, and then he's, if you can picture yourself behind the pew, and he's walking down the far right. Oh man, one shot. What did he set it on? I believe he did one of these numbers.
Head popped.
Readied it up. One shot. Dude was down. That was it. But we're just saying he's not at the range. I mean, people are going crazy. This guy just shot someone with a shotgun. Like, there's pandemonium at this church, and this dude took a second to make sure he had his target engaged, and took the shot, and the target was down. It was crazy. We watched that video at least like once a week. Yo, pull that video up, because there's so many things going on, and for him to have that wherewithal, and obviously he's like crazy, I think, decorated in the gun space. Like, he was like a RSO. He had all. It came out that he obviously, you could tell by the by the shot that he took. I don't remember. I might be off base with some of that stuff, but
I'm a little bit rusty, but in my security training course, the guy who runs the company that I pretty much work for is they have a relationship. They know the guy from White Settlement, but the guy that guy I think he was either the head or pretty high up in the team because that was part of the security team.
Yeah.
And he was able to respond. And somebody might say, well, that's a 1 in a million shot. It's actually not.
No. Yep.
That's a shot that you gain over skill. Sorry, it's a shot that you gain by building up your skill over time and really, pushing yourself to beyond what you think you can do. And yeah, there's the element of like, there's a lot going on. There's people running. Could just anybody do that? No. Some of that's God. Like, I'm gonna just say that some of that is the hand of God kind of guiding you to stop the evil that's spreading itself around. And I don't think we should just dismiss that and say, oh, it's just a guy. Nah, like give God some of that.
Yeah.
So that's sad.
Man.
Yeah.
That said, it's good to be prepared, and having gone through significant amounts of training, kind of in the pursuit of, hey, can I be a better gun tuber, right? And also, can I be a better father and protector? But also, can I be a better protector of my church? Because that's the whole reason I got my security licenses. I mean, I'm a private protection officer, which is the highest degree of security officer you can become in the state of Texas, because I wanted to serve my church in that kind of way. Now, can I do these things and keep my skill kind of just basic? No, you have to push harder. You have to say like, okay, so the state mandates 20 feet for, 5 shots within a, A zone at 20 feet. Well, can we take it to 25? Can we go a little further? Can we go a little faster? Can we really push ourselves to that next level so that we can be comfortable in the most uncomfortable situations?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where I'm at. Well, that's what I would like to achieve.
That's a gem right there.
No, man, we said that the other night.
In the most uncomfortable situations, for sure.
That, and also you fall to your highest level of training. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
Like if you don't train all the time, guess what? When the situation pops off, you're gonna fall down to that level.
Yeah. It's fascinating that you said that. And I think the slightly tweaked it where it's you fall to your actually lowest level, right?
Yeah.
Where I was in Florida. I had the privilege of being invited out to the Ambassador Academy, which is hosted at the WAF facility down in Florida in Orlando. How far is that from you guys?
Couple hours.
Couple hours, yeah.
Yeah. And a multi-million-dollar facility, they do a lot of like real life scenario training, depending on what you do. Like if you carry a gun, they'll let you train, do scenarios with a gun. If you don't carry a gun, flashlight, maybe pepper spray, just depending on what you carry on a daily basis. And we did some scenarios, low light, minivans parked in the room, and hopefully you guys can see it one day when I put it out there. Minivans parked inside the warehouse. I walk in and I get ambushed, but with a guy with a knife, right? And he gets me. I go down. He gets my ribs, and some way, somehow, part of it's the amount of reps and training that you kind of grind into yourself, the muscle memory. As I'm kind of falling forward, I'm able to draw and turn around, and on my back with this guy coming at me, able to put shots on target and take him down, and then be able to kind of regain like awareness enough to, as there's another attacker getting ready to go for the knife that he had to attack me, and this is a scenario simulation, right?
Yeah.
Was able to kind of ward her off of the knife and get myself into a safe space. In the scenario simulation, I was hurt. I've been stabbed. But when you pressure test like that, because you think, oh, it's a simulation, it's a scenario, it's whatever. No, you feel it. Fear is fear. Like the pressure is all there, and not wanting to get hurt, because the knife actually hurts. They use a certain amount of electricity in it so you feel it. And having to know that I was able to respond in that way, despite kind of being knocked down, and actually hit my head pretty hard on the rim of the tire. It's refreshing, and it makes you say like, okay, yeah, no one had to die. No one died. No one was going to die. But I can be a bit more confident in my skills and take that out into the range and even ask myself, what did I do wrong? Because I did something wrong in that scenario. When I saw the way it was set up, I should have just backed off instead of kind of exploring more.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow, that's great insight. Did you mag dump when you fell down?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. You're like,
oh yeah.
This is going viral.
Yeah.
Armed Atlas goes out with a bang.
Well, it also taught me that 10 rounds is not enough. Not for me. Because in the few scenarios that I was in where I actually had to use a firearm, there was one time where I just engaged one guy, and I think there was like at least 7 or 8 shots that were fired in the first one, right? The second scenario, there were 3 guys attacking the vehicle, and I shot like 4 rounds at the guy coming around on one side of the vehicle, and then I got out, and there was another guy who had a knife, and he was getting ready to rush me, and I put another 6 on him. And then my mag's empty.
And that's it. And you're done at that point.
That's all you got. Now,
that's it.
You know, you carry a second mag, but a lot of people don't carry a second magazine.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I would
for
love
this
15.
particular exercise and training, like they're like, you get 1 mag, or is it whatever you're usually
carrying? So that particular one, you can carry 1 mag. They ask you like, hey, with the low light scenario, they ask you like, do you carry a second magazine? And depending on the setup, depending on my setup, I may or may not carry a second mag. But that has me questioning my no mag setup. I'm just like, is this good enough?
I normally don't carry a second mag, but I keep one in my truck, like in my car.
Right. And that's a question of like, okay, in a bad situation, can you fight back to your truck, or are you putting yourself at a severe disadvantage? And I mean, statistically, most people 1 mag is enough statistically. But bad stuff happens. We carry guns because bad stuff.
That opens up another question. You're now out of rounds, mag empty. Are you confident in your hand-to-hand combat? Aaron, are you confident?
Okay, me. Yeah. Yes and no. Like I'm not great on the ground. Like I don't have any serious jiu-jitsu training, but I have done, Krav Maga and stuff like that, and some open hand stuff. And it's like, yeah, against most guys, I'm like with shoes on, I'm 6 foot. So I'm 5'11", 230 something. Like I can handle most guys, but if it's me, open hands, no gun, no knife, no nothing, versus a guy with a force multiplier, that gets bad for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Did you in that moment? My bad, Cush. In that moment, did you think, or I guess, what was your thought process after that? Did you think, man, maybe I need a backup? We've talked to a few people that have a secondary gun on them, or another weapon, maybe like a knife or something like that. Have you thought about doing something like that, or especially after that?
I actually do carry basically wherever I go, no matter what. I don't care where I am. Yeah, in the state of Texas, there are some places where you are legally not permitted to carry guns, like the post office and court buildings and certain hospital systems. And you make your own decisions on what you want to do. But that said, I will have a knife on me. Generally, keep it in my pocket. And shoot, I have a knife on me right now. So that's helpful.
Yeah,
but
I like that. What was that?
Oh, this is
this little thing.
This little thing right here.
I like that.
Yeah, this is fun. This is from Regiment Blades. They sent it out. It was really nice of them to do so.
Yeah,
but pretty much you don't have to know how to knife fight. You just have to know how to throw a punch. Boom.
Yeah.
And it'll hook them pretty good. That said, I keep that just because you never know.
Yeah, for sure.
Even when I'm not carrying a gun, first thing in the morning, just hook it into the pocket, keep it moving.
Remember, Breezy, that one video we saw? They're at the mall, 2 dudes. This dude is towering over this other guy but the smaller guy is the aggressor.
Oh, he's got the knife, and
But he didn't even know. You couldn't even tell he had a knife
it was
on
so
him.
quick. Yeah, caught. They're kind of like neck to neck, or
enough
face chin to chin, shin to head, I guess, because the
in the
one
forehead.
and he just caught him in the.
No,
Just one time.
he stabbed him. Remember,
Yeah,
because
yeah. Was it a
poked a hole in
slice
him.
or a
Wow.
stab?
it was a stab. Because
I think
remember,
it
the
was a little.
blood just starts.
Okay.
And he grabbed.
Sheesh.
Yeah, but he was the aggressor. The little guy was the
Yeah,
aggressor.
and dude just started leaking. He stood there for a second, and
And
you could hear it, and then just collapsed because he was
Yeah.
losing blood that fast. And it's
Yeah,
like,
I
man,
mean,
that's how quick it
that's what they
happened.
teach you. There's timers and switches. You know, you get hit in the head, that's your off switch. If you get hit in an artery, it's a pretty quick timer.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
make sure they don't hit that.
Timers and switches. I like that.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
We got to drop it. There it is for that one.
Yeah, I got you.
There it is.
Hold on. We need a DJ horn.
Yeah, hold
Timers
on,
and
hold on.
switches.
I
Oh man, Tom Joyner would be sad right now. Yo, so let's jump into the Gun Club Radio. So you're telling stories. Has it evolved from just telling stories of black men or black
Yeah.
women? So yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, so that's something that, just to be really transparent with you, I was really hesitant to do. Having like my first guest who was not black individual on, I think it might have been like a Hispanic couple, a Latino couple out of Florida, and I was like, okay, I think that'll be acceptable, just because it's hard to find spaces in the gun community that are really committed to, just honoring the black experience in the gun space and just being respectful and to be, kind and thoughtful. And that's something I feel like I've done really well in telling these stories, right? And people took a lot of pride in that. And so for me, I was like, okay, well, there's still more stories to be told, but I'm meeting these people who have really good things to share. And I don't want to gatekeep or accidentally gate away good knowledge and information, things that we need to take and absorb as a people, right? As people who are interested in firearms, but maybe your background, your family background, maybe it is, but maybe it's not in the gun space. So why would I say, well, sir, you're not black, so I can't have you on the show? Like it started to not make sense. And I was worried because I was like, man, I don't want to make people feel like I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
But
or that they're not welcome.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's that too. So eventually I did invite some pretty high-end names to the show, people that I met at this show and that show, who were more than happy to come on and share, free game. Like I brought in he's right now in the outdoors space and like overlanding, but one of the biggest channels in the overlanding space, Talon Sai, who used to do the Sunday Gun Day portion of his channel, and then eventually YouTube like had a big problem with his content and shut him down. He moved it to a secondary channel, and he no longer makes gun videos, but he has a lot of knowledge, like industry knowledge, institutional knowledge about how to be a better creator in the space and how to kind of navigate. So I was like, why would we not have you on the show? Like this, it wouldn't make sense to not bring you on for the guys who are like me, who are interested in, and secretly just for me. Like I'm trying to get this free game. So
yeah, of course. Yeah. I like that.
And other instructors and whatnot. So it's like, let's open it up, invite anybody who has a story to tell and let them tell it. And just on the other side of it, make sure that as we're telling these stories, that it is mindful and thoughtful to the people who have supported the show from the beginning, to the people who I feel like I do represent,
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that. And I love how intentional you are with it, because it's been a common theme. This entire season is community. You're building community, a community of what started off as one thing is now evolving, and now you're fostering that community to help spread awareness and knowledge. And I think
let's make sure to touch on that again before we wrap.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, if there's anything you want to add on.
Yeah, because as I've started building this thing out, I had a Discord group that it was like, hey, okay, let's make this for the members. Like if you pay to support my show or whatever, I would let you in the free Discord group. And then I was like, man, we shouldn't gate that off, because it was a great flourishing community, but it was limited to the people who wanted to pay. So I think it was like a year or two ago. I was like, we're gonna open it up. Everybody was cool with it. And now we've invited some guys who are like industry guys, like, hey, I'm the marketing director for X, Y, and Z optic company. They're in there. Um, Guys who are just now getting into the space asking questions like, hey, like what's a good holster? What's a good first holster? And you're just like, ah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that moment.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
cool.
it's really cool
Yeah.
because there's like competition shooters in there and just regular guys in a Discord group, you know, a little community app that's for gamers, but like we're in there, we're doing our thing. And it's really, I think that's one of my favorite things right now. Like making content's cool, but kind of looking down on my phone and just seeing the text feed just flying, people asking questions and getting help.
That's
There it
cool.
is.
That makes it special.
We say that a lot because, man, if you just say, I do need help in this space, you're gonna
Or I don't
people-
know. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
People pour into you, and that's one of the many things. I probably said all the things I love, but it's one of the many things I love about the 2A firearm outdoor space.
Yo, so
Yeah.
wait, hold on real quick. Have you played the beat? Are you like done
No?
chopping?
Yeah,
Play
that thing came together. Sometimes, sometimes
Yeah,
it comes
sometimes it's quick. Let's
I'm
see.
here
sometimes
for
it's
it.
quick.
Let's go.
You'll have to tell me who you hear on this. I know who I automatically think of,
All
but
right.
you let me know.
Oh, I already know.
You hear a few people on that
Oh
actually.
yeah. I definitely hear a
Who?
couple guys from Griselda, obviously.
Okay.
But I also hear Hove on some Get Money.
Yeah, that's what
I
I was
hear
thinking.
Pusha T on it.
I was
If
even
you're
thinking like Jada.
Yeah, I'm not man, let me not say this on the no, screw it. I'm not really a fan of Jada, bro.
Yeah, it's all right.
I'm not really a fan of Jada. I don't get me wrong,
We take a little minute for music? We want to go like can you give
Nah,
us
I mean
a
we
top
could.
5
Yeah,
real quick?
yeah. Wait,
Aaron?
Top
Doesn't have to
5 is
be in
old
any
Kanye.
okay.
oh Kanye,
Okay.
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 Um,
It
let's
doesn't
see,
this is
let's
no
see.
order, by the way. Just 5.
Yeah. We got a shout out to one of the cool kids up in New York, Andy Mineo, if you're familiar.
Yeah, Christian rapper, yep.
Yeah.
No doubt.
We gotta say put I would say Biggie, then Pac.
Mm.
Someone's gonna have a problem with that.
Oh, so you're doing an order. Okay, all right.
Okay. Well, if we're gonna be real, that list is not in order. But I would put Biggie over Pop just because there's some songs I just
I'm waiting to
when you
see who
hear it,
this
just like
5th guy is gonna be.
yeah, shoot. I don't know if I have a 5. I feel like who would
Wow.
5 be?
I don't
Who
know.
would
I'm
5
thinking
be?
like Nas, Rakim, Prodigy, Mob Deep, Andre
Mm,
3000.
So I have a
let me go back to my
You went
childhood.
Chi-Town, so Common.
I want to go back to my childhood. Who was I listening to growing up?
Well, you're from Pimp C.
No. Let me think.
I have a couple top 5 lists. I have top 5 lists for duo rap groups.
Ooh.
I have
I like
top
the
5
old
lists.
Kanye.
And my top 5 list of all time is definitely gonna be Scarface holds the number 1 spot.
Okay.
Then on some and some people may not agree with me with this, and I don't really care. But I
It's
am
your
from the
list.
South. Yeah, I'm from the South. For Ownership and Hustle Alone, Master P.
Okay.
Following close behind him, Jay-Z. I don't have Big or Pac on my list. I used to have them on my list, but DMX has moved up and 50 Cent has moved up for me as I've gotten older. Cause I like the whole, before I stepped into my faith and went into corporate America, I was a street kid. So I love hustle music. I love getting money. Like that, or rather, when I was in the world, that's the type of music I love. Like, if you ask me my like top 5, I don't know. I listen to some Christian rap, but lately I've been really deep into my old classic gospel music. So
I mean, that's got a special place, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
It's never a bad time for old school gospel. Ever.
Never.
Oh yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
real quick, just because you said Kanye, old school, what you got one Kanye album? What is it?
Probably Dropout.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what about you, Breeze?
Oof, I love Dropout. I mean, really, he had like 4, probably Dark Twisted Fantasy.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
I'm not
I mean, you
mad.
can't be mad at that.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
the
tough.
new stuff
There's
is
such
kind of
different
threw me
albums.
off.
Yeah.
The new stuff kind of threw me off because I think out of respect, I loved all his new stuff, but the old stuff like Late Registration, like Dropout, like all that, like Wake Up, Midwest, like let's go.
Yeah.
Like, just the creativity and the fearlessness, you know what I mean?
Oh, he's Kanye.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kanye.
Well, my guy's a little crazy. I don't know, but
hey, we all are.
I love Kanye for sure. Like, I think that's a whole nother.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah,
it's hard.
You say, listen, we had a small conversation before we came on, and I worked in radio from about 2005 to about 2012. So if you can think of that era, it was a tough era for me, just because I was a very purist. That dude, I came up in the 90s. I was a 90s dude. Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep, like hardcore hip hop, and
like real hip hop, right?
Yeah. And I don't say that anymore. Like, here's the thing with growing up in South Florida, though, is it's such a melting pot. I heard everything. There was New York kids down here bringing mixtapes from New York, but there was Southern kids. We were listening to Luke, 2 Live Crew, Trick Daddy, and so it was
JT Money.
JT, shout out JT Money, DJ Magic Mike. There was so many like influences. I didn't just get stuck in that New York hip hop lane.
Yeah,
that was my first love for sure. But I say all that to say, it was cool because Kanye really like saved me in my radio days. I felt like I could play some real hip hop still in that like 05 to like 2010 era because I had Kanye. So,
well, I mean, that's when pop, like when we talking about, I was just telling my wife, I was like, how crazy is it that we have rappers, like self-respecting rappers, bringing on these like pop, pop hooks and whatnot. It's like B.O.B. really brought on Skylar, what's her name, to do Airplanes, which was a hit. Like, it was a hit.
I saw B.O.B. early, bro. You know who B.O.B. was touring with? You ready for this?
Who was he touring with?
Yellow Wolf at the time.
Really?
That was the first time we ever saw Yella.
Breeze,
that's funny.
I remember B.O.B. I don't know if do you know who TJ Chapman is from TJ's DJs?
Yeah, of
Bro,
course.
I remember going up to TJ's DJs events, and because he was his manager. So we were all still underground because me and my brother were rapping for a while, and like I remember seeing him there, and it's just like, I mean, bro, it's all cool when creatives get together.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, hold on, we got to hit you with the 3 questions because
go ahead.
Let's bring this off. Let's bring this thing to a head. All right.
Yep.
So even in men's fashion, they wear the satchel now, or the crossbody.
Indiana Jones had a satchel, so
off body or on body carry, and why?
Always on body. Always on body. I'll carry a satchel, fanny pack, manny pack, whatever you want to call it, but that's just for the extra stuff because I'm not trying to pump my pockets full of everything.
Yeah.
On body every time, all day, every day.
Okay.
And you say why? Just the time, and also I can be a little forgetful. So if I put a bag down that has a gun in it, it might stay down. Now, for me, that's why I experiment and I reach out to different companies that are working on different stuff. Like I'm doing some testing and evaluation for a company called Concealment Labs right now for their newest thing. It's like a belt that has like a firm portion on it that you can hook your magazine to, and it stays on your body. And it so far so good. I have notes. I do have some notes though.
Well, okay. AR, AK, or shotgun, and why?
AR all day.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
It's like
AK's been taking L's.
Yeah, for sure. AR. It's been like straight AR for like the last 6 shows.
Why the AR?
It's America's rifle, man. Like
The AR
the rounds
for,
are the rounds are available. I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing: like a sick AK build, there's nothing quite like it. You know, it's a classic look. It's
For
iconic.
sure.
It runs in pretty much any weather. Like you take it up to Siberia, AK's gonna run. Like it is what it is. That said, if you want a round that's easy to get, it's not cheap. 5.56 223. Let's go. You know.
So is that what your AR is? 5.56 223.
It's a 223 wild, so it can run both, but
Yep.
the 223 will be a little bit more accurate. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
My AR platform's a 300 blackout. So.
I see you.
All right.
Hey man, that's that cool kid stuff.
Yeah.
Spencer rounds.
You're heading back to the training facility with the caravans in it. Except this time, there's really people in there trying to kill you. 20 to 30 of them. You got one guy you can bring with you. Jason Bourne or John Wick.
Oh.
Or you can throw in a third if you want. You can hit us with a sleeper.
I mean, you didn't say Chuck Norris, so I'll leave that. I'll leave him on the list.
Oh,
really? Chuck Norris.
Norris.
Okay, Chuck Norris on the program, ladies and gentlemen.
Gotta tell you, folks.
All right. I like it.
Cool.
But if I only could choose those two, I'm going Wick, just because he's known to take out a room of 30 dudes. I don't.
Yeah.
You know, Bourne,
At least in
out,
Hollywood.
You know?
At least in Hollywood.
But we were talking about it the other night. He did some real training.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying he could do that and be John Wick in real life, but he actually did some really
with Taryn.
high-level training. Yeah,
he did it with Taryn. He did it with Sean Ryan. Like they all, these guys can shoot.
Yeah.
You know, so.
All right. Now another question. We got to throw this into rotation.
Four questions.
Are you fourth one. This is a mulligan. Right? Mulligan? No, audible.
Audible. There you go. Audible.
Are you?
He said Blue 82. Let's go.
Yeah. Are you carrying with one in the head, or are you gonna rack it?
Is that even a question?
I don't think so, because for me, I always have one in the head. Breezy always has one in the head. But there are people who, strangely enough,
Look.
Yeah. Exactly.
He's perplexed.
Yeah.
There it is.
It's got one in the chamber. Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Take your word for it.
It's in the safe, one in the chamber. If it's the go-to gun, it's loaded.
Yep.
No question.
Yep. My shotgun is
all
always
day,
loaded.
every day. Twice on
Shotgun's
Sunday.
always loaded. My 9's always loaded. I mean, all of them are loaded. The only ones that aren't are the AK and the AR.
That makes more sense just because of the way it's designed.
Yep.
That makes sense. But if it's a handgun, if shotgun makes sense, like get a good holster.
Yeah.
Rack it. Load that holster. Let's go.
All right. So before we wrap this, excuse me.
Yeah.
Tell people where they can find you, your socials. If somebody wants to reach out to you, where can they hear your podcast?
Yeah, so everywhere where podcasts are cool, you can find it at Gun Club Radio. There's over 100 conversations, over 100 unique conversations available online right now. You can go through the library. If you go on the YouTube channel, there's even some live shows that we've done that are a little bit more exclusive to that platform because it's YouTube and it's more of a visual platform.
Yep.
And if you want to follow the gun review side, because it's two different sides, Armed Atlas, Gun Club Radio. If you want to check out some gun reviews, if you want to hear me geek out about some gear, at Armed Atlas everywhere, YouTube, Twitter, even YouTube, Instagram. But more YouTube than Instagram, because Instagram's kind of rough on me right now.
Yeah. So are we gonna say this is mission accomplished, Breeze, or what?
Oh, mission accomplished, baby. You ready? You ready for it?
Yeah, let's go.
Hey.
And for the folks who are wondering if we do have a mission failed, it's the two.
Oh yeah, I got the mission failed somewhere. Hold on, I got him. Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh no.
DJ.
Maybe we should just start rolling that out when people give us.
I don't know why I think of what was the game where it was like the hiker moving up the thing on Price is Right. I don't know why I always picture that one. It's like the hiker guy, and then
guys, thank you for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube where you can see the video, subscribe, and anywhere else you're listening to this podcast, please subscribe, share with your friends, your loved ones, and yeah.
And I want to add something. I don't know if this is like the Lord putting this on my heart, but I know as guys sometimes we struggle, and with mental health, and we have a great brotherhood. So if anyone's ever struggling, please DM us, Apex Mountain, email us, find a way to reach out to us.
Yep.
Just to know someone to be there for you, because we all go through stuff. So
absolutely.
There it is. Thanks for being on with us, Aaron.
Yeah,
guys, thanks for having me. It's been fun.